dive into the numbers and the strategies today. I want to pull the curtain back on something. For a long time, I thought financial planning was just about the math. It was about spreadsheets, tax codes, and picking the right stocks. But after years of doing this, I realised that if the math doesn't have a soul, it's just a noise. That's why I started creating these educational videos. I wanted a way to strip away the jargon and really look at the big picture, the why behind your wealth. The video you're about to see is one of the most important ones I've put together. It's about life planning. It's about making sure your money is actually serving your life and not the other way around. So grab a coffee, settle in, and let's look at how to design a future that is 100% yours.
Okay, let's talk about your financial plan. What if I told you it's probably missing the single most important ingredient? And no, it's not about interest rates or some hot new investment strategy. It's about you. Today, we're going to dive into what's called life planning, which is really just the art of designing a future that's truly 100% yours.
So I want you to start with this one really powerful question. Just take a second and think about your career, your money, your whole life strategy, and ask yourself, honestly, does all of this, does it actually support the life you truly want to live? And hey, if that question makes you feel a little uneasy, you are definitely not alone. The thing is, for so many of us, there's this huge disconnect, which brings us to our first big idea, this feeling of having a life that's just out of sync. You know that feeling, right? That nagging sense that something is just off. It's this internal conflict that you can't quite put your finger on, but it creates this friction that can be a huge source of unhappiness. And listen, this isn't some personal failing on your part. It's an incredibly common struggle.
Here's a perfect example of what I mean. Let's say your number one value is family. Like, that's your everything. But your reality, you're grinding out 70-hour work weeks. See that gap right there? The one between what you say is important and how you actually live? That's the tension. That's a life out of sync.
Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we get everything back in sync? Well, the answer, the entire solution, actually starts by looking inward. It all begins with your core values.
So when we talk about values, what do we actually mean? They're the foundation, the bedrock of your entire life plan. And look, they're not just some fuzzy, feel-good words. They are the concrete principles you use to measure whether your life is on track. They are, quite literally, your personal definition of a good life.
And once you are crystal clear on those values, they become your North Star. I'm telling you, all of a sudden, these huge, intimidating life questions get so much easier to answer. Should I take that promotion? Well, does it align with my value of family time? Should I start my own business? Does it feed my value of independence? It's like having a cheat code for making tough decisions with total confidence.
So why is all this so urgent? Well, it comes down to this number right here, 29,200. That's about how many days you get if you live to be 80. I want you to picture your life as a giant jar of jelly beans, and each day you take one out. Once it's gone, you can't put it back. It's such a powerful way to think about making every single one of those days count.
Okay, so you figured out your values. You're feeling that urgency of time. Now for the big question. How do you turn all these big ideas into an actual real-world plan? Well, that's exactly what we're breaking down next.
And I need to be clear here, this is not just another budget or some boring spreadsheet. Think of this as your personalized roadmap. It's the bridge that connects what you care about most, your values, to the financial engine that's going to make it all happen.
And the process itself is pretty straightforward, really. It's just 4 steps. First, we do a really deep dive, and not just into the numbers, but into your hopes, your dreams, even your fears. Then we map out all of your financial resources. After that, we start modeling different future scenarios, playing with all the what-ifs. And then finally, we pull it all together into your master plan. And yeah, of course, all the usual suspects are in here. Cash flow, assets, taxes, the whole shebang. But the key difference is, we're not just staring at a bunch of numbers on a page. We're putting all the pieces of the puzzle together to create one complete picture of your financial life that is designed from the ground up to serve you.
Look, any plan can look good on paper, but life has a way of throwing curveballs, right? A plan is only as good as its ability to handle the unexpected. That's why this next part is so important. We've got to prepare for anything.
Let's just be real for a second. A plan that only works when everything is perfect
That's not a plan, it's a daydream. A truly great plan, a robust plan, is built to handle market swings, life's detours, and all the curveballs you can and can't even imagine.
So, how do we build a plan that's this tough? We stress test it. We run all kinds of what-if scenarios. What happens to our retirement age if the market crashes tomorrow? By asking these tough questions now, we can make smart moves to protect your future so that a surprise doesn't completely derail your life. And this isn't just us guessing either. We use really sophisticated tools to run these tests. Things like Monte Carlo simulations, which basically test your plan against thousands of possible futures. We can analyze what happens if you live way longer than expected, or how your investments hold up in a volatile market. It's all about one thing: trading anxiety for rock-solid confidence. All right, you've done the hard work, you've dug deep, you've built the roadmap, and you've stress-tested it. So now we get to the best part, the payoff. Let's talk about the incredible benefits you get from having a true life plan in place. First up, and this might be the biggest one, you just get to sleep better at night. Seriously, you get this deep sense of calm from knowing you're on the right track no matter what happens. Next, you get to be smarter with your money. You find powerful ways to minimize what you're paying in taxes and really maximize the wealth that you've worked so hard to build. It also lets you think bigger, beyond just your own life. You can start to really design your legacy, how you want to be remembered, and how you can leave a lasting impact on the people and the causes that mean the most to you. And really, this is what it all comes down to, isn't it? At the end of the day, you have a clear, actionable plan to go out and achieve your biggest, your boldest, your most important dreams. Because here's the secret. It was never really about the money. It's about what the money can do for you. It's about using all of your resources to build a life that's just full of meaning and purpose. It's about creating a life well lived. So the map to your ideal life, it exists. The tools are ready and waiting. The only thing missing from the equation is you. So I guess the only question left is, are you ready to start designing your journey?
I know we covered a lot of ground today. It can feel like a lot to process, but remember, you don't have to build the entire bridge today. You just have to decide where you want it to lead. The biggest mistake I see people make isn't about investment. It's waiting for the right time to start designing their life. But as we saw with the jelly beans, time is the one resource we can't earn back. If anything we talked about today resonated with you, or if that question about your life being out of sync hit a little close to home, don't just let the video end and move on. Take 5 minutes right now. Write down your top 3 values. Start there. If you want help turning those values into a formal plan, or if you just want to see more of these deep dives, make sure to subscribe and check out the links below. I'm here to help you make sure those 29,000 days are spent exactly the way you want. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next session.